All right, welcome everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week, good start to the year. We just finished off the first month of the year, so now we're moving into month two. So we got February 6th to the 12th this week, and we got a couple pairs we're going to look at. We got some Bitcoin, we got some gold, and lovely pound yen. So let's actually dive into Bitcoin first, and um, then we go from there. So let me get this squared away here. As you can already see by what I have drawn up, you can tell, what I'm expecting this week. And honestly, the next 2 weeks, I want to see nice movement to the downside. But we'll get into that right now. So pretty much what I'm looking for is Bitcoin. Even so, if Bitcoin wants to push up, into 50s and 60s again, I believe before it's going to do that, it will take out these lows that it made over here and at least hit them again. Probably hit at least 28,400 area. So even if we are going to explode, I think first it will dump down and grab those orders before we explode. However, I don't think we're going to explode yet. I think we are going to kind of squeeze in here, maybe even hit 20,000 sometime this year, right? That's very possible, which not a lot of people want to hear because most people that are investing in Bitcoin, they are purchasing the coin itself. However, the way we do it here at Team Let's Eat and in the forex industries, we buy, we sell, long, short, so we make money wherever price is going. And our goal is to just read price for what it's doing and react to that and take entries off that. And I believe that we are going to see another push down over the next few weeks. Starting next week, I think we might have something like this going on. See how we dumped and then we pulled up to these highs right here, and then the following week pushed down and then pushed down again. Then we stalled, pushed down again. We are due some sort of pullback, which is why I have these levels marked. I believe once the new weekly candle starts sometime early on this coming week, we're going to see a spike up into these highs like 44,000. And from there, we can short to, around 30,000, which might be a few weeks swing trade. But I mean, we're talking like 15,000 pips. So I'm okay with holding it for a couple weeks. With that being said, let's take a look at first over here. This is the similar type of price action that I am expecting to see. So where are these wicks that I'm expecting going to take place? Well, obviously we have this level here at 43,500 essentially. That is my main area right here is where I'm looking for price to tap into, whether it spikes just a little bit above it or not. That's totally fine, but I am expecting price to pull into these areas. Now, this is the daily, so if we zoom out and go to the 4-hour, we can see that there's really not any other area for Bitcoin to, find lots of rejection from. We are pulling back into kind of this, retest of this old support. However, from what I've noticed with Bitcoin, it doesn't really care about that as much as it does care about filling like the very tops. So, for example, here when price pushed up, it didn't retest down here. It pushed up to this very top, spiked above it, and then we pushed down, which we actually shorted here, closed most of the short here, and then was expecting a pullback to this wick. Okay, right around this area is where I was expecting price to reject from and dump, but obviously that's not what happened, which is totally fine because we got out of the trade down here. Most of it, at least, the rest of it had no risk on it. So going forward, yeah, that's what I'm looking for really, is price to just push up to these levels really quickly before making a dump down. Kind of like how you see right here, you see how price pushed up. It pushed up and it threw a wick and it started moving down, which may have caused a lot of people to sell. And then it pushed back up above this high really quickly and left and never came back. Stalled for a week. We've been shorting here, push down, we shorted again here, push down, we shorted again, but it is due a pullback, and I believe that's what we're seeing now. So I would really like to see price hit 43,500, which it's really not that far away. It's 200 pips away, less than 200 pips away. I think that's very doable to push up there. I mean, that just could be two candles, really, two 4-hour candles or one daily candle. So I'm not looking to get anything, or I'm not looking to get into the trade like today or tomorrow. Definitely not today, but probably not tomorrow either. But maybe, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on where price is and what it's doing. Later on this week, as long as we can come up into this area, it's really this area here. So the top of this 4-hour candle that dumped to the top of the wick. So right here to me. So let's actually zoom in and look over here. As you can see, I'm going to change it right there. So this is, hold on, I like making it perfect, guys. So 1 second. So this area to me here is where all the orders are. So 43 to 43 and a half. Okay, that's the main focus here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the wicks to the downside. Huge wick. We also have wicks to the upside. So price is definitely stuck in this range right now. And I believe we are going to pop above it and just tap this level. I don't think we're going to stay up here for long as we can get up there. I don't feel comfortable selling, shorting down here because it's just in the middle of nowhere, and just by what Bitcoin does and what it's done in the past, it typically doesn't just sell off or make a big move in the middle of nowhere. It'll tap a level or an area with a lot of liquidity, which is exactly what this area is. As you can see, it pumped to this level just to be drained. And notice it didn't stop here, or it didn't fly up here. If you look left, if I just drag this left, you can see there's lots of liquidity right here. So it just pulled back into that area and then just completely drained like 10,000 pips, literally. So I think we're going to have a very similar opportunity here, just based off the fact of how manipulation and institutions work. I would not be surprised if we pop up above here very slightly. I don't think it's going to have to be anything crazy, maybe even by just like $100 or a couple $100. This is the top of it is 43 and a half. Even if we hit like 43.7 or 43.8, just a nice little wick on the 1 hour, then we can get a really nice sell off. And yes, the take profit is going to be way down here, guys. We're going to swing this trade, because if this is pulling up here to grab liquidity in order to sell, then it's most likely going to rip past this low of 32,900, and the next support is that 29,000 area. So we'll probably take partials along the way, and very likely we're going to get a second entry somewhere in the middle here. But definitely holding on to this, because this is a 14,000 pip opportunity here. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If the trade's going to go, it's going to go. So we might as well just hang on and stay patient. And as you can see here, I mean, it doesn't take that long. I mean, that's 10,000 pips right there in 4 days. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen like the next 4 days or after it spikes this. I'm not saying it's going to take 4 days to come down here, but the point I'm trying to get across is Bitcoin can move a lot very quickly. So it's not like, anything out of the ordinary to hold something that long. So yeah, with that being said, I mean, look at this 30-minute. Honestly, this could be like a little short-term buy opportunity right here. I'm personally not going to enter that because that's just not, excuse me, that's just not how I trade. I would rather wait and sit like I don't know, like a lion or something, just waiting for the perfect moment, and then we press enter. So we'll see what happens. Maybe let me go to the daily. So the new daily opens in 2 hours. So possibly if price on the new daily, so after price opens on the new daily, if we come down here to these levels, like 40 in the 40,000 range, if we snap down here, actually delete that wick. It's definitely going to be this wick. If we snap down there, it's definitely going to snap to right here. If we do snap down here and the opportunity on the smaller time frame looks like it's turning around, maybe we will enter that buy because that is 300 pips. So we'll see, but I'm not betting on that. I would prefer to just wait to sell. But yeah, I don't want to miss the opportunity if it presents. So kind of similar to right here. So obviously it's not exactly the same, but you can see how it was kind of ranging and then it dropped down here really quickly just to pull back up. And this is 230 pips. And then it just tanked, right? See how it just popped up there and it stayed there for 2 hours, 1 hour, really. So something similar to that is an opportunity that, we might take that opportunity. So yeah, for this week, I'm mainly looking for the sell kind of midway or halfway through the week. However, we might get that short-term buy from 40,300. So we'll just see if price can actually do that. All right, that's it for Bitcoin. So possibly buy up here, but otherwise we're going to swing these sells down around 13,000 pips. Gold, 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 gold. Gold has been glorious. Let's go to the daily. And what I see here is one wick right here that got taken out by this wick. This wick right here got taken out by this wick. And now I believe we're going to move up to these highs before we continue down. Okay, so overall, I'm looking to short gold into the low 1700s. However, I don't think that's going to happen yet. And we're actually in a buy position, which I'll break down in just a few minutes. And these are the targets. I do believe we hit the 1830 mark, but it all depends what happens at 1820. I don't think we'll hang out at 1830. I think if we pop up here, the bodies of the candle will be around mid 1820s, and then we might see a wick into the 1830s. So a little bit, specific there. I don't think we're going to see bodies of the candle closing and hanging out in this area. But it all depends. So looking at this daily, as you could see, we had a huge spike down. That was January 28th, and then the next week opened, and this was last week. Last week opened, I guess technically it's Sunday, so technically it's still this week. You guys get what I mean, though. Didn't come back down to that low. We came back down to 1785, pushed up again, pushed up again, And then this day we snapped all the way back down here and grabbed a ton of orders and closed up here. Now, Friday this past week was NFP. So we got another snap down and push back up. So going forward, I believe the next few days are going to be similar to what happened here. So we got that snap down, and then this following day pulled down to make a wick, of course, and then the next 3 days it decided to push up. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Not specifically 3 days, but I think as far as the candle formation or the characteristics, I think today's candle is going to come down and make a wick, and we'll get into where that wick will go in a minute. But I think we're going to come down and make a wick, and then throughout this week, I believe this week is going to close bullish. So Friday, I'm expecting price to be up in this area, and then the following week, I believe we're going to spike up and make a wick down, and then we're just going to short it all the way down to 1750. So with that long-term picture in mind, let's go to what's happening right now. This huge candle right here is the candle that NFP happened on. If I go to the 1 hour, that's 8 p.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. Eastern time. So that huge push down is NFP. And the reason we caught that entry is because I had a fib level from this huge liquidity grab. What I was expecting, whether we had NFP or not, I was expecting price to pull into these levels. So I start at the bottom and I drag it to the top, which is this candle right here. And then I just extend it left, obviously. So the red is the 50%. The gold or yellow is the 0.618 fib, and the green is the 0.78 fib. As you can see here, 0.618, 0.5, 0.78. So what I was expecting is price to do exactly what it did. I waited for price to snap down into these fib levels because there's orders here that wanted to be filled, and just because of NFP, knowing that NFP causes very crazy movement in the market. I was honestly, when price was up here right before NFP, I wasn't sure if it was actually going to come all the way back down to these fibs because it was just so high over the night in London. It just kept pushing up and up. I was expecting right here for it to start slowly going down, but it went up. However, with that being said, obviously that NFP just completely obliterated the market. And because we were expecting this, we got a buy entry right at 1795. So right here, after it pushed down and it started coming back up, that is when I personally entered, and I'm still holding that position. So let's zoom back out to the 4 hour. I'm really not expecting that much of a wick. I would like to see, let me just draw this on here for you. I would like to see the half or the 618 tapped with a wick, and then we explode. And this, I mean that on the daily level. So this, when I say I want to see it tapped with a wick, that might be 2 or 3 4-hour candles. You get what I'm saying? Or even, whatever else it wants to do. But that's what I would like to see, is just the Fibonacci 0.5 or the 0.618 tapped with a wick, not a body. I want to see price come down here and then wick down in there, and then go up. There's it like when a candle comes into an area, it's different than when it comes above an area and wicks into it. Because if the candle comes into the area and closes and has the body of the candle, it's not, it's destined to, if we're looking to buy, it's destined to make a wick. So what I would like to see is the candles pull into around that halfway mark, and then a nice wick or two to the fib level here. And yeah, from there, then I'm expecting it to move upwards. And I'm actually going to extend this or shorten it. Here is where the movement will likely start. So let me extend that more. This is New York Open. So what I'm expecting is whatever gold wants to do during the night, it can do. Well, night for me at least. And then around New York Open, I want to see price around here and snap to this level. And maybe we even grab a second entry. It all depends. But yeah, there's a good chance we might get a second entry. Actually, I'm gonna leave that fib on there. Right there is good. So something like this. Honestly, it might not even make a wick that low. I mean, looking at the 1 hour, it might just come up to or come down, I mean, to these levels right here. This wick that I highlighted, it might just pull in there and take off from there. So delete that. With that in mind, knowing we have the buy entry already and we possibly are going to get a second entry, let's look at our targets and the sell entries. So we have this high right here. That's a pretty obvious point. And then we have the top of this wick, because to me, there is a ton of orders within this wick. That's where it was a huge wick, and then the market just drained from that area. So to me, tons of orders here. So that's where I would like to see price wick into, basically, is if we, trickle our way up here and we start hanging out right here around this area. You can see why I marked that line, right? Because I wanted to, this is all wick right here. So all of this, in my eyes, everything above the line to the top of the area right here is all liquidity and orders from institutions. So what I would like to see is price go like that, maybe chop around one more time, fake some people out, and then just completely send it to the downside after it already filled all of those orders. Yeah, not much more to it with gold other than that. Yeah, maybe we get a second buy entry. Otherwise, we're just holding those buys and we're going to look to sell at 1830 area. One more pair. Pound yen. Good old pound yen. Pound yen was really tricky last week. We did get some sells in, but we got stopped out. However, I believe the sells are still in play. I think they're still valid, just based on the structure and the price. So on the daily time frame here, we have these highs marked, and I just extended that over to see where it lined up with, and it lined up with these opens, open and close. So that brings some significance. And what I like to do is go like this. And to me, this area here is where a lot of the orders are. Now I am aware of these wicks right here. So maybe we tap out this wick, but based on what has happened right here, that might not be the case, because it doesn't have to tap these levels. And what I see is these areas right here. So if I mark up, I'm going to have so many lines. I'm just going to use these two lines. If I mark up these wicks and these wicks, right? When price initially pushed in here, you can see that it pushed up all the way up here and then it closed pretty much halfway back down the candle. Second candle pushes up, spikes that one out by like 1 pip, closes with rejection. Then we got the end of the day here, so not much movement. Price just stalled. However, it's still through wicks. The following 4-hour wick, and bearish push. Then we push down. This was NFP right here, this candle right here. So if I go to the 1 hour, this is right at 8 o'clock. So this rejection might have had something to do with NFP. However, after that, you can see we pushed up slightly and we have been stalling sideways ever since. So let me fix my lines. Go back to 4-hour. What I would like to see here with pound yen is these levels respected. If these levels are not respected, then we could continue up here. I am fine with seeing these highs tapped out, but that's all that I would like to see is just them tapped out. And again, kind of with what I was explaining earlier on gold, I would like to see the body of the candles kind of hang out under this level and this wicks are thrown up here. And if we start closing and hanging out up here with the candles, then we're probably going to move up further. So it all depends what these candles do today, really. I don't think anything will happen on today's candle. I think it'll be more of a sideways candle. And then the rest of the week, if we get the rejection, we should start moving down. But it doesn't have to spike all the way up here. Just all depends what it wants to do, what the banks want it to do, really. I could very easily see this candle just not even coming up all the way up there, coming up right here and then closing bearish. And if we started moving down, that'd be awesome. And to me, so the first sell target is going to be this low right here or just under it, because if we're going to continue up and it's pulling back, it'll most likely tap that level out before it continues up. Or we're going to go for the big boy swings and we're going to tap out these lows right here at 148.5 because they haven't been tapped out since. And you can see we got 1, 2, 3 touches to the level, almost to the level, and then it exploded. Then we drained and now we've pulled back. And just out of curiosity, if we start at the top of the drain and we pull it to the bottom, you can see we are in between the golden and the green areas. So that lines up well. I don't really pay attention to the halfway point as much, but I have it there just to know where it is. So there's not really too much more to it than that. If I wanted to, I could show you we have these right here, right? Finally have a lower one and then a dump all the way down here, right? So you see how we got the squeeze and then the expansion, and look at that candle right now. I bet the spread right now is like 40 pips. So the first hour of the market is very similar to right when spread opens on swap. So don't really care what this this is 30 minutes. So these next 2 candles, I could care less what they do because it's mainly just nonsense movement and spread. Only 10 right now. That's not too bad. Cool trick I learned is if you press Control. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm still learning how to do it. You got to hold Control and go like this, and now I can delete all of those at once. Pound Aussie's 25 pip spread right now. So it'll be interesting to me to see the next few hours. Honestly, tonight even, I know I said earlier, today might be sideways. Let's see, we have the market open. I'm going to mark that open right there. It would be interesting to see if price comes into this. I'm going to highlight it actually. This area right here. Because to me, if you look at the bottom of this zone I drew upwards, you can see every time price gets in here, it just pushes out immediately. So popped in here and just completely dumped. It tried again. It squeezed in there. It popped in there, dumped, popped in there again, dumped. It retested it, dumped. So massive wick. Obviously, that's still forming, but it's interesting to see because if this candle closes and it just turns bearish, I mean, I could see it just dumping. We have so many people were shorting in this vicinity, including me. And then we just got this huge push to the upside. I think this push to the upside was just grabbing orders and maybe confusing some people into buying. I think sells are still valid. We accumulated so much right here. So yeah, sells are definitely on the table here for pound yen. Oh, we got some more people in here. Welcome. I don't know when you guys joined. I don't know how much you guys saw. I'm breaking down the last pair on my list, which is pound yen. I can run through the other two if some of you guys want, if you just joined. But yes, possibility for big swing on the yen, on the pound yen, because if for some reason, I'm just getting a hunch that we're going to take out this low right here. And the next few weeks, let me put it this way. If this week closes bearish and next week either stalls sideways and throws up wicks to the upside, like right here, then I think the next 2 weeks after that will also be bearish, and that will bring us all the way down here. However, if this week closes bullish, then I don't think we're going to take that low out. But something just tells me that we might actually dump down here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That would be brilliant because that is like what, 700 pips? Yeah, 700 pips, which we got in 2 days on gold 2 weeks ago. But that's okay if we hold a little bit on the pound yen. As long as we get in, take the entry right here, and we hold and wait and see. It's very possible. It is possible that we come up here and take this high out and then dump, but that doesn't have to happen. Kind of like right here, see how we dumped? And then the following candle, the wick, let me zoom in here. The wick of this candle went between the open and the high, closed down here, rejected, right? Same style, not the same looking candle, but the same flow of, what the market is doing. So we'll just have to see what happens here. If this day closes bearish below this one, so if today's candle closes below 155.5, then we're probably just gonna send it down all week. So we'll see what happens after the next hour or two, just to let the market kind of wake up and stretch its legs a little bit. As far as entry goes, I'm looking to enter. This would be the best area to enter because every time it pops in here, it drops. So to me, there's lots of institutional orders being placed in this area. However, depending on how the next few 30-minute candles close, we could be entering, at like 156.3. So let's just wait and see and get an entry as close to 156.5 as possible. And that's it for the end, guys. Not much to it. I mean, that just looks beautiful. If this 4-hour candle closes bearish, that is just a beautiful, beautiful formation. I mean, this pullback structure into these highs is just flawless. So I do believe we're going to have a really nice selling opportunity. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And for the people who joined a little bit later, I'll just break down kind of quickly. Bitcoin, we're looking to take that from 43K to 30K over the next 3 weeks. So end of February, Bitcoin is going to be $30,000. That's my prediction. Looking to enter at that high that is marked up here. After the new daily candle starts, which is in, I believe that's 1 hour. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it starts at either 18 or 19. I always forget. It's either the 18th or 19th hour. Anyway, with that being said, let me go like this. With that new daily candle, if we pop down into this low of 40,300, there is going to be a possible buy opportunity to 43,000 because obviously every 1,000 is 100 pips. So that is a 300 pip trade right there. So I wouldn't want to miss that out if that opportunity presented. I'm putting a alert there in case I'm not watching the chart. And at some point after the new week starts, which again is in either 1 or 2 hours for Bitcoin, I will be paying attention for a possible buy from here to here. But the main point or the main trade that the focus is going to be on for Bitcoin is the sell opportunity from 43,000. So I'm not really worried or like super, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not super attached to this buy. Like if the opportunity presents, we'll take it. But if not, it doesn't matter. The main thing is the sell for sure. And then real quick again, for the other people who came in, gold, we had the buy entry because of the Fibonacci and NFP. This golden is the 0.618 because of the golden number. This is the 0.78, and then this is the half. We got the snap down on NFP. We got the entry right here at 17.95, and I am expecting price to hold 1,800 essentially, and just explode from there. However, I am open to the idea of price tapping into the fib again because on this spike, same thing, but right here. However, it doesn't necessarily have to happen. One thing I want to note real quick, and then I'm pretty much done, is I'm going to highlight this wick right here. Okay, you see the wick I'm highlighting, extend that left. So that is no coincidence. And the point I'm trying to make is, because normally I'll say, well, we'll wait for this level to be tapped out. I don't think we have to wait for that because here is level 1, here is level 2, and this is level 3. You guys have seen this before on my charts. We have 1, 2, 3. This could even be considered 1, honestly. But either way, this got tapped out, this got tapped out, and this movement was simply because of NFP. I believe if NFP did not happen, it is possible that when gold was pushing right here, it would have just kept pushing. But NFP gave us that, thankfully, gave us that additional chance to get in the trade. And after the market opens in 17 minutes or 37 minutes. I don't think we're going to spend that much time moving down. I think we'll just come down and make like a little 50 or 70 pip wick. And then we're just going to push up here for the rest of the week. And the following week, next week, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I just want to paint a picture of what I'm seeing. I believe this week is going to close out up here. And then next week, I think we're going to get a spike with a nice wick to the upside. And then we're just going to tank to these lows right here. I really can see gold just falling over, honestly, to like 17. Tapping this low out right here. Something just tells me that that's going to happen. I don't know. It's just intuitive. Exactly like this sell opportunity here. This was intuitive. I know a lot of people, including one of the people I look up to, Sean Lee. He actually called a buy at 1840. And I just intuitively, something told me that no, we're selling hard from this level. And that's exactly what happened. And I have that same sort of vibe around the pullback into the 1830s and then a second wave of that hard fall. Because the dollar index is getting stronger. And over the next few months, the dollar should just continue to keep rising and rising and rising. And that will cause this to drop. And maybe even to 1780. I don't know. That is a stretch, but it is possible. I mean, it's begging to be taken out. If gold wants to make a new all-time high and hit like $2,100, it's just begging to come down here one last time, because if we look at these three taps, we have the initial tap. Actually, it was made over here. Okay, but from these three, we have tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. You guys probably already know what I'm about to say. None of them tapped each other out. This one was not lower than that one, and that one was not lower than this one. And I think on a major level, we will see that taken out and then just completely explode. Kind of like right here, how it just exploded for, let's see, that's March to May. So like 2 months, if I'm correct. Well, that was the end of March. And that's the end of May. So yeah, 2 months. 2 months of pretty much nonstop movement to the upside. And even right here, I mean, it tapped out. I remember this day, like very clearly. The market opened and it snapped down and then it pushed up. Anyway, don't want to ramble on that much. But yeah, I strongly believe we're going to hit 1830 area, and then we're going to send it to low 17s and possibly high 16s. I don't think we'll go lower than this. If we come down here, we're going to like 1675 and then we're exploding. And you can see that's, that's 20 pips under here. I really don't think we're going to come that much lower than this. Like literally 20 pips. If that, maybe 10 pips, who knows? But yeah, that's the plan going forward. Is gold has huge trades coming in. So this is going to be, it's the time of opportunity here. So let's make the best of it. And just a side note, don't close your trades early, because I did that. And it didn't cost me money because I made money when I closed it, but the opportunity cost of making more money is what happened. So yeah, don't close trades early, guys. Just trust it and let it go, because if it's going to go, it's going to go. So let it go. That's all I got. If anyone has questions, send them now. Otherwise, I will send the chart pictures in the chats. We all good? Everyone's good? Sounds good to me. All right. Let's have a blessed week, blessed month, blessed year. We'll take these opportunities and use them to our full advantage. You know, it's hard out here in these markets, but we make it happen. So let's keep at it.